friends, welcome back to another interactive session. So today we have with us one student from electrical engineering department. So I'll discuss some career oriented questions with him. So you will able to learn a lot of things from him.
How to apply for MS? What kind of job one can get after MS? Simply take GATE exam, score above 700 score in GATE. But there are other ways also. If you are from CFTI, no GATE score is required. So don't think that MS people can't sit for placements or anything. One company pays as much as like 27 LPA. What is the general process of applying for PhD abroad? So I would be going to Washington State University.
So let's start the video.
Okay, hello ma'am, and thank you for having me here on your YouTube channel. And so I have been given some questions by I guess some other YouTube comments and some have been curated by ma'am itself. So my name is Ariyan R. I'm a native of Bihar, but I have always lived in Karnal, Haryana and Mohali, Punjab. My bachelor's was from in BE Electrical and Electronics Engineering from BITS Pilani, Hyderabad campus. Here I am pursuing my MS in research degree in electrical engineering with my specialization being in power systems. So as I said, the full form of my program which has the acronym MSR, but its full form is Master of Science by Research and in Electrical Engineering. And I should also mention that this same program is known by other names in other institutes. For example, in IIT Bombay, this is called as MTech as a research assistant, RA, MTech RA. In IIT Bangalore, it is called as MTech Research. And similarly, it may have different names in other institutions. But basically, the fundamental difference between an MS and an MTech is that in MTech, it's 2/3 courses and 1/3 of research component. Whereas for MS, it's 2/3 component is for research only. And our courses are very few. And we can choose our own courses. We are not bound by any specific guidelines on which courses to choose. So you can choose any, for example, even if I'm in power system, I can choose any, let's say, electronic course, any signal processing course, any control systems course, and so on. So yeah, just a small point. So I would call this MSR as MS because this is the internationally accepted term throughout the world. So for example, whenever anyone says that I am doing my MS in US, so it's 99% of the case it's understood, it's implicit that they will be doing a thesis component. And if they are not doing a thesis component, so it's specifically called like MS non-thesis, or in some cases it's called ME, Master in Engineering. So MS almost always comes with the connotation that a thesis will be done, and that's why I will be also referring to this program as MS. But just to clarify, so it's called as MS in research in IIT Delhi. So yeah, how to apply for MS? So there are actually a couple of mechanisms to apply for this program. One is the most basic no-nonsense approach is to simply take GATE exam, get somewhat decent marks, not a very high score, but let's say usually it's 600, but at times it can even go up to 700. So ideally I would say just score above 700 score in GATE. For example, in my case it was GATE E, but you should check for your own program at the website, of course. So for me it was at my time it was GATE 700 score. Once you get a particular that score, you will be called for an interview, and in interview they might ask you some GATE related questions also, and as well as on your own research work. For example, most people as I know, they do their BTech project in final year, and as an example, I did my in BITS Pilani we do our thesis. So I did my thesis and I was asked on that, and based on that combined GATE score and interview marks, you can be selected in the process. So this was my way of entry into the institutions, but there are other ways also. For example, if you are from CFTI, for example, you are from NIT, as some of my friends, some of my batchmates here are. So if they have scored like 8+ CGPA in their bachelor, so they are directly eligible for an interview here. And so no GATE score is required. So I think that's an awesome thing to know about. So it's not just NIT; it can be any other government institutions also. So you need to check their IIT Delhi's list for that. So which institutions are eligible. Apart from that, there are sponsored programs, but I think you can research on your own about that, because every organization has their own specific rules, and you can look up the IIT Delhi Electrical Engineering website for that. Anyway, what kind of job can one get after MSR? what will be the salary or pay scale? MS candidate is usually, like almost always I would say, is eligible for all job profiles which are usually available for any MTech graduate out here and there. And in some cases the companies might even prefer the MS and as well as the PhD candidates because of their better research exposure. So for example, there are some research profiles like have a good demand for MS and PhD people. So don't think that MS people can't sit for placements or anything. So to give a perspective, so for example, for in my batch there were 4 MS people in the power systems in electrical engineering. I wasn't interested in placement, so I didn't sit for that, but all my 3 other batchmates have sat and they have been placed in their 3rd sem itself, by the way. So that is great. And in fact their pay scales, one company pays as much as like 27 LPA, and there are also other core companies which can pay up to like 15 LPA, 16 LPA. So basically placements are great, as great as any other institution out there in India. I did my MS, but I will be going for a PhD in US. Personally, simply because I have an interest in research. I love being in a university. I want to be in an academia, and PhD as a journey also I would love, because I love research, and as a future possible destination also, as a faculty, I would you must have a PhD these days. What kind of job can one get after a PhD degree? So this pretty much has the same answer. So any good core engineering company has its decent research profiles, their R&D divisions, which are pretty much almost always filled by PhD or MS people. And yeah, so again, to clear a common misconception that PhD means you have to be a faculty or something. So no, that's incorrect. And you can, for example, even in the US, you can apply for an engineering position, for example, in GE or NREL or Pacific Northwest Limited. And even in India, you can apply for various companies. Even here we have GE and Bajaj and etc. So most of the jobs are in industry only, by the way. So not in faculty, as some would assume. Any good company will have their R&D position, and they will hire you if you are a graduate from here and you have performed at a certain level. So do not worry about placements. Okay, if you won't be placed in IIT Delhi, so then I guess India does not have that profile for you. How have you benefited from your MS degree from IITs in getting a PhD admission in abroad? Yeah, that's a very good question. So obviously anyone can apply for a PhD in USA, and basically any country. To be frank, it's always cool to have say that your IIT is from your degree is from BITS or IIT, as opposed to, let's say, some unknown school. So frankly speaking, that always helps. The tag is of some help, definitely. It's not game changing, but it always helps. It's always even for a foreign professor, if they says, oh yeah, IIT Delhi, BITS Pilani, yeah, I know this school, and yeah, it seems fine. So I'll keep it at that. How to apply for PhD in abroad? Okay, so, and actually there is the next question: is GRE or Tofel necessary for PhD? Yes, GRE and Tofel are both extremely necessary for the PhD applications, and even most MS applications also. So GRE is almost always a given when applying for PhDs, and instead of Tofel, most universities have other exams also. They allow, for example, IELTS, and some universities also have their own speaking and language assessment examinations. But I think it's always easy to just simply take one Tofel exam, so that you can easily send your score everywhere and whatever you want. And okay, so what is the general process of applying for PhD abroad? So of course, so step 1 is take these 2 exams. So these 2 exams, of course, they themselves will take some time to prepare, and you need to send those scores to the universities you wish to apply to. Then you have to make applications to every university out there, and in the application, as part of the applications, you have to give them your resume. So of course you should list out your good achievements and any courses and any relevant skills you have, programming skills and mathematical skills and etc. And your course and of course your CGPA will be there in your CVs. Plus you will also be you are supposed to make your statement of purpose. So that is a very important key ingredient of application, and it shows what kind of intent does someone have to apply for that PhD. Name the faculties you wish to work under, and if you are lucky, and of course with the right skill set and with the right luck, once your application reaches the faculties, and if the faculties see their name, and if they are interested, they might mail you for an interview. They will interview you, and you need to convince them that yeah, you are the right person for the job.
Yeah.
If it goes well, you will be offered a research assistantship appointment letter, and congratulations. So what will be the total cost? How a student from a poor family, let's say, who can't even afford above 1 lakh, get an admission in foreign school? This constraint is a bit tight.
Yeah.
Your PhDs will be funded, fully funded, and you will be your tuition fee will be waived, and you will be given enough stipend to sustain your own stay. Okay. And the application process itself is kind of costly. So, for example, even the GRE Tofel, each exam takes about $150, and for sending each university your application, it takes like $20 each. And I expect you should send to at least 10 unis. Even the applications have their costs. It can cost between $70 to $140. So, if you don't even have 1 lakh, though, frankly speaking, you should apply for a job for 2 years, let's say. And by the way, this is actually a good point. So the universities actually don't very much like students who directly apply after BTech, after MSc without any job experience. They love industry experience. And so I would urge you, if you have such critical like levels of money, like not even 1 lakh, so definitely do your job and save up a little bit of money. So just the process will go smoothly for you. That's all. Like for the smooth process, just have a bit of money, but in the macro scale, your PhD will be funded, of course. Effectively, it would be zero cost for you. Are there any advertisements like IITs or NITs do for the PhD twice a year by those foreign schools? So yeah, the admissions are twice a year. So just like the IITs do for these research programs, and they have their strict deadlines. For example, like 10th February for fall admissions and 10th September for spring admissions, and so on. So you can check on that, and they have their exact specifications also. For example, some universities require a specific GRE score, a specific Tofel score, like minimum score, and so you need to make sure that you get at least those scores in the schools, and their GPA requirements also.
In some IITs, they do conduct entrance exam for PhD admission.
Yeah, that is completely different. Yeah.
It is not required in US universities.
It's not a ranked competition.
Okay.
It's just a test of you have some basic skills.
Okay.
For example, GRE, by the way, if the people do not know, GRE does not test for example, I will be applying for a PhD in electrical engineering, but GRE does not have any electrical or even any engineering. It's just a test of basically high school level math mostly, and English is actually kind of tough. So I would suggest to prepare for at least like 3 months for the usual people. I know some friends who have prepared for just like casually 1 month, and they got like 339 out of 340. But for the usual aspirant, I would say that prepare for at least 3 to 6 months, because the English is it requires some effort. To make my point, this does not test for any engineering itself. It is just to test if the candidate is able to make reasonable assessments, reasonable judgments, and like they are able to converse with the people, and they are able to write technically. So there is a writing component in GRE also. So it's for it's a separate component, and I advise if someone is very interested, what is GRE? So directly take the exam. You can simply go to, there are free mock exams, so you can go to Kaplan or Magoosh and take their mock GRE. And just sit, and it will be very clear for you what to do, how to prepare, how to go about it in general.
Letter of recommendation is also required, no, from the professors.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I forgot. This is actually a very key component of your PhD application. So you need usually 3 letter of recommendations. Ideally, universities like LORs from university faculties, as opposed to industry people. For example, if you do a job and your manager is okay with your work and whatever, manager's LOR can also apply to, basically your superior's LOR can also apply, but keep it like at most 1. If you have job experience, by the way, but ideally take it from like decent, strong LORs from decent faculties in the schools you have studied by yourself. So and again, the LORs also have their qualities. In a slang way, we say some LORs are weak, some are moderate, some are strong. So strong LOR is like, for example, I have worked with him like, for example, 1 year, and he has shown excellent research capabilities, and I am very impressed with him. So that is a strong LOR. And a weak LOR is something along the lines, okay, yeah, he's a okay student, yeah, he scored somewhat okay, and yeah, that's it. So it does not specifically have that kind of energy as a strong LOR. So ideally try to get strong LORs from the faculties who genuinely know you, who know about your progress, and who can vouch for your work ethic and etc. So that's why if someone is in school right now, if someone is in like their third year or second year, so or even fourth year, so I would highly recommend approaching your professors for projects under them. So if you do a project under your professor, so it's a very high chance you will get a LOR, provided you do it reasonably enough. You work hard on it and you will get a LOR from them. So yeah, so 3 LORs are very important actually. And 3 is actually the minimum number. Some universities say that if you can give 5, then it's even better. So yeah. Why do you want to go abroad? Do you want to settle there or will you come back to India? Okay, so why not simply continue here in IIT Delhi as a PhD, or maybe even any other Indian school, let's say IIT Bombay, IIC or whatever. So, and why go to another institution? So by the way, I would be going to Washington State University. So, to answer the second question, no, I don't actually have any plans to settle there. I wish to be in academics and in India. So I wish to come back, whether it is after some postdocs or directly after PhD, no one knows. But I wish to come back and basically be a faculty here in India. In India, the schools are pretty good, I must say. It's not like, some people might say that research does not happen here, but I would say that is incorrect. So there are very successful PhD and MS people who graduate from IITs and from those foreign schools also. So that is not a reason. So my reasons, for example, choosing that experiences, they are big substantial universities. So for example, here all technical institutions are basically just that, technical institutions. So IIT has this engineering. At max it has some design school and a few small humanities department. But overall it's I would say a small school, I would say. And whereas actually a university, when someone says they are going to a university, so I would say it's like a philosophical discussion, but university means that everything should be there. So for example, there should be painting also, there should be engineering also, there should be medical also. So for example, usually most US public schools have all those programs. And I like diversity in my program. So I want diversity. I want people from different programs. And of course, ideally different from different races also. India is itself a diverse country, definitely. But I would like diversity in race also and everything. So in terms of their competency also. So it's like a melting pot of the world, I would say, which we can't say the same about IIT. So people, it's not like people from Korea or Japan come to India, right?
Yeah.
So definitely that is something I hope IITs too can improve on this front. So that people from the outside wish to come here genuinely. Right now, as far as I know, this does not happen. Anyway, so other reasons are there are decent industrial collaborations of all universities with their own either the industry or even the government. So for example, the program I will be going to, what their alumni do, every summer term they have their 3-month internships at their most important companies, either companies also or even the government facilities also. So basically these are a few of the reasons why people might wish to go to US schools instead of Indian schools.
Industry and academics goes parallel.
Yes. Why brilliant students from IITs or NITs or any good school want to go to US or Europe for higher studies and eventually settle there? Anyway, just a clarification, when I say school, it means university. So, for example, in US, we like to call it grad school and not grad college, grad university. However, the terms can vary. So, school, don't confuse it with the K-12 one, right? Not the 11th, 12th, class 10th school. So one very good reason I have for someone who wishes to go to US or Europe to settle there, especially in research profile, is some things are simply not done in India. Okay, so for example, especially if you are in life sciences or if you are in, let's say, material sciences. So if your foundry, if your factory, if your equipment is not here, so what research can you do possibly? For example, in my case, all I need is a good computer to simulate my stuff. So I can be anywhere. I can be in a village also, in a village in Bihar, and I can do my stuff as long as I have internet and stuff. However, some people genuinely need some decent equipment to function there, and so that's why they must go to a proper location with proper facilities. Second is that in India, usually, of course, IITs are a different case, but usually people are skeptical of PhDs looking for a PhD graduates who are looking for an industry job. Like, okay, why are you not going to academy? What is wrong with you? So basically because the industries here are not mature enough. So we need tertiary level industries to even have those proper vacancies for PhD students. So right now, even if PhD students apply, I'm not talking about IIT Delhi, but generally for India in general, they are overskilled for their jobs. The jobs they ultimately get, they are too skilled, and so they must be feeling that they are too unchallenged, and that's why they might be wishing to go to US or Europe or whatever, any developed country which has a developed and mature industry simply. And I wouldn't say specifically anything wrong with Indian work culture. There are some disappointing aspects, but I'm sure wherever I will go, there must be some disappointing aspects there also. So it's only a trade-off in that case. So yeah, that's it from me.
So thank you so much for your time and your valuable comments. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, and thank you so much for having me here, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I applied to 7 universities, and it wasn't like I was preferring one university over the other. If one university's rank is better, I knew that anyone would be fine for me. And Washington State was the one which offered me a fully funded PhD at the first, and I logged it in, simply speaking. Washington State University is in Pullman, Washington, and just for anyone who wants to go there, it's pretty cold. So yeah, pack accordingly.
So, do you have any idea what is the average PhD duration there?
Yeah, average PhD, for example, it again depends on the faculty and everything. Actually, there are a lot of factors. For example, under my faculty, I have seen that usually the PhD students graduate in like 4 years.
Okay.
4 years itself.
That's a good
Yes.
duration. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.